Hey everybody, you might notice from the time on the video that this is a shorter video than normal. That's because it's very late and I gotta get up really early tomorrow. But K-Cat asked if I could get this out by the weekend, and there's really nothing stopping me by getting this up tomorrow. So, well, it'll be today for you, but tomorrow for me. Yeah, I figure a shorter video isn't that bad every once in a while, and it is getting really late, and I gotta get up so fucking early.
Expects a Pegasus.
Let's just go.
He landed and passed me a sack full of metal apples. They didn't have any ammo either, but they had these. Steelhoofs offered to take the grenades.
Why are you
Of the
still
lot
calling
of us,
metal
he
apples?
was the only one who actually had any skill with the things.
Let me turn this down just a bit.
One of these days, we gotta get you something that don't do no splash damage.
An assault rifle
Calamity
works.
passed another sack, this one holding a square box with beveled edges inside, to Velvet Remedy. Medical kit they
I don't have a
had
drink.
was locked, so I just brung the whole thing. Brought, Velvet corrected as she took the sack. That's what I said. Velvet rolled her eyes to me before slinging the sack over her, clasping it by her saddlebag harness. There was no rush in opening it. I could pick the lock when we reached our next 4-star station. Presents delivered, Calamity flew ahead again. The next 4-star station was the site of a massacre. I watched Steelhoofs tread between the bodies of over 30 ghouls. Most of them looked like they had been mowed down by heavy minigun fire. Powerful explosions had torn holes in the walls of the station and the homes that had been built into and around it.
Steel Rangers?
The place was rank with the wet smell of ghoul corpses.
Steel Rangers
The
do
buzzing
that?
of flies was a constant drone that reminded me of the high whine of Stable 2's lights.
I think it was Steel Rangers.
Velvet Remedy had fled up the line about 300 yards, unable to stomach this. Calamity was looting the bodies. Rotting Tails group, Steelhoofs finally announced, long after I had come into the same realization. He kept his deep voice neutral. I wish I could see his expression behind the mask. Steelhoofs? I asked cautiously. You alright? Why wouldn't I be? He asked, again keeping his voice neutral. Too neutral. He was refraining from something. Whether it was laughing in joy or raging in offense, I couldn't guess. How about you? You're not indulging in the looting, I notice. As Calamity would say, it's not like these creatures are using anything here anymore. Might as well go to
I don't
our
think
use.
Calamity would say creatures.
To Steelhooves, looting ghouls was okay, but looting Steel Rangers was not. I didn't like that. Although, with consideration, I had to admit to myself that I would probably react considerably worse towards the looting of the bodies of stable dwellers. I'm going to burn them, I announced. Soon as Calamity's done with the scavenging. If you want, you should join him in that. Interesting, Steelhooves intoned, but remained with me. I found his reaction to my reaction as interesting as he apparently found my reaction to be. As morbid and repulsive as the setting was, I decided to attempt to fathom our new friend.
He's in
heard
denial.
about the Steel Rangers. They don't exactly have a heroic reputation. Is that how you see yourself? He replied. You're a hero? I flinched, but quickly suspected he was deflecting. How about you? How do you see yourself? As a traditionalist. Okay, what the hell did that mean?
What? Yeah.
I tried again. I'm told that most Steel Rangers are more interested in saving technology than saving ponies. How about you? Steelhooves was quiet. I pressed. Are you following us around to keep my pit bucks safe? Steelhooves snorted a laugh. Then, somberly, he revealed a little of himself. Steel Rangers, each and every one, swears the same oath. But there is some divergence of opinion as to whether our fealty is owed to the mayor of the ministry or to the ministry itself.
Why do you care about
He
the
spoke of
ministry?
the ministry as if there was only one.
It's dead.
Or at least only one of any importance. Are they that different? I asked. But Calamity returned before I could get an answer, and Steelhooves was not willing to share with an audience. I think I get everything we might want. You have a strong back for a Pegasus, Steelhooves ribbed. Are you sure you don't want to get the furniture as well? Calamity grunted, flapping his wings. Ignoring the jibe from Steelhoof's comment, I considered the underlying truth. Calamity, why don't you fly back and unload that stuff back at the suite? You can catch up with us. We'll still be on the Celestia line. Calamity smiled, tipping back his hat. Will do. Then he was off. I focused, the bodies of the ghouls wrapped in light one by one. I levitated them into a pile. Then, walking out ahead of one of the monorails with steel hooves following on the other, I reached a safe distance.
Try to. I know it's hard, but
the
try to
zebra
show a
rifle
little
and
more
half a clip into the mound
respect
of
than
ghoul
just a
cadavers.
corpse pile.
The pile began
Please?
to burn.
Ah.
We watched Velvet Remedy, who was staring at the ghoulish pyre with strange fascination. I looked back, trying to figure out why the sight held her gaze so. A balefire phoenix was circling the bonfire of corpses.
Cool.
Repeating message. Again, this is Blackwing of Blackwing's Talons, sending out a distress call on every friendly frequency. Please send this message on to any Talon companies in the area. My team and I are trapped on the roof of Horseshoe Tower by enemy forces. We are low on ammo and cannot hold out much longer.
Define enemy forces.
Here come more of them.
Please.
The radio message ended abruptly.
Because if they're super mutants,
the words
fuck
of the
you.
female griffin. She sounded younger than God, and not quite as hard. My pit buck had started receiving the distress signal over a mile away from Horseshoe Tower. The signal was weak, but Horseshoe Tower had been one of the tallest buildings in all of Equestria, and was the largest skyscraper remaining in Manhattan ruins, easily dwarfing Tenpony by over double its height. To anyone receiving this message, this is Blackwing of Blackwing's Talons. Please, we need help. We're pinned on the roof of the Horseshoe Tower by overwhelming enemy forces. We're low on ammo and food, and we've lost 3 of our team already. We are in desperate need of...
It says something if the namesake of your organization is in trouble. That's probably saying something bad about the whole organization. And no one's coming to help her,
assistance. If anyone can hear this message, please bring help. Please hurry, we can't hold out much longer. This is a repeating message. Again, this is Blackwing.
Or they could be dead, like long dead.
I removed my earbloom and played the recording aloud as we got within a few blocks. I had hoped Calamity would catch up with us before we reached the skyscraper's 4-star station, but I wasn't willing to wait. Each loop of the message pressed upon me with mounting sense of urgency. We're going in, I announced. Then, reconsidering my words, I'm going in. You two can stay behind if you want. I understand. I swished my tail. Besides, some pony should let Calamity know where we are. Steelhose nickered. Personally, I look forward to the chance to meet those noble ghoul slayers.
Oh.
He looked at me.
Shut up, dude.
And you're going because? Are you being the heroine? You enjoy risking your life for strangers? Or is there something else about Horseshoe Tower? I glared at my companion, then smirked. Oh, I just want to know how a bunch of griffins could get trapped on the roof of a building.
That's a good
Steelhose
point.
chuckled. I turned to Velvet Remedy.
That's a good point.
You are not going in alone, Velvet insisted with a grim smile and a stomp.
She's not!
And we can leave Calamity a note. She paused. He can read, can't he? I rolled my eyes.
How's he going to find it?
Then, considering
what if it blows away?
I found myself at a loss.
Well, if someone else finds it.
I still had the clipboard and pencil that I had taken from the Tenpony Tower constabulary, but a note left under a chunk of crumbled concrete would easily be missed.
Okay.
For Calamity to see it,
you have
we'd need to
preempted
paint
me.
the message in big letters on the roof of the station. And even then, he would miss it if we didn't illuminate it somehow. I pointed these problems out to Velvet Remedy. In case you missed the light show earlier, dear, illumination will not be a problem. Velvet smiled wryly. I can cast a spell on the letters that will make them quite eye-catching. Can you just make glowing words? Velvet Remedy shook her head. Yes, but only if I stayed here to maintain them. To leave them behind, I would have to enchant existing writing. Paint, preferably, unless we can find a really big ink pot. Steelhooves whinnied as he trotted past us to the station's double doors that led into Horseshoe Tower. Then we'll paint it in the blood of the first enemy we encounter.
Yeah!
He turned and bucked the doors hard enough to not only swing them open, but send one flying across the waiting room inside.
Dark, but awesome.
I cringed and thanked the goddesses that the room wasn't full of enemies. Are you coming? I heard Velvet Remedy step over the body of the griffin, his bulk nearly doubled by the twin minigun battle saddle that was still strapped to his corpse. It was the first body that we had...
How is he able to fire those things without getting blown back? Like, okay, that's something that you don't actually see in, like, the games or anything. But fucking recoil! You don't... Like, you'll rip your arms off. Okay, they're probably not using it because he has a battle saddle, but I'm just imagining this guy opening fire and he just flies back. Like, okay, maybe, like, the because Okay, you know you see the carrying around miniguns in games and movies, but you never carry that shit around, really. I mean, Terminator could, but he's a machine. Like, just the idea, as awesome as it is, I always found the idea silly, because you probably hurt yourself more than you would hurt the people you're trying to kill.
Encountered, which
Well,
wasn't
what the fuck do I
old.
know about miniguns? I never
The floor was
fired
littered
one.
with bullet casings, making walking around it treacherous. I couldn't tell what killed him. That worried me. It worried me even more when Velvet Remedy diagnosed it as natural causes, her voice loaded with disbelief. At least we know they came this way, Steelhooves observed. I was beginning to worry that there was no way up.
Magical heart attack.
Much of Horseshoe Tower's interiors had collapsed. Stairwells had crumbled, hallways had caved in. The entire building had become a maze, forcing us to weave in and out of rooms in order to make it from one end of a hallway to the other, making us go down a floor to find stairs that would take us up too. Ahead, we heard the spray of water. My pit buck started clicking softly. The only way to get to the next set of stairs was through a collapsed section of wall between two bathrooms. The building's water talisman was still pumping water through the shattered pipes. The water was alive with low levels of radiation. The balefire bomb had probably irradiated the talisman itself.
Right.
I
There you
checked
go.
with Velvet Remedy, making sure we had enough radaway with
That
us.
explains that part.
The radioactive shower would be minor, nothing worth getting concerned about. But if this was a sign of bigger problems ahead, I wanted to make sure that we were prepared. Holding my breath, I pushed myself through the spray as quickly as I could. I stumbled a little as the wet floorboards on the other side gave an inch. Okie dokie Loki. Steelhooves, I'll be floating you through and setting you down over there, I said, pointing at the far
That
corner of the
damn
room
reference.
near the doorway out. This floor is not stable. Velvet Remedy stayed back. I focused on Steelhooves, wrapping him in a telekinetic blanket.
Ah, my
Slowly,
nose.
I lifted the heavy steel ranger up half a yard and brought him through the shower. I took a single step back, feeling the floor wobble alarmingly once again, and glided him past me towards a corner
I'm
that
at
was
least going to
fairly
get
certain to be
15
dry
minutes
and
out.
stable.
Even though I really gotta go to bed.
Steelhooves made it halfway there when something he saw through the open doorway
Wait, how
caused him
much
to
more we got?
thrash, trying to find purchase on the floor. Before I could put him down, before I could even ask what he saw, the Alicorn stepped into the doorway.
Fuck! I
My
knew it!
levitation
It's
magic
always a
imploded
super
as I
mutants!
gasped in shock. Steelhooves dropped hard, turning to fire at the Alicorn, and the floor gave way beneath him. Steelhooves dropped out of sight. I heard splashes beneath. The Alicorn took a step forward, looking down at the hole, and the rest of the floor collapsed. The Alicorn tried to thrust out her wings to fly, but they struck the sides of the doorframe and she fell into the floor below with him.
Wow.
I
Fail!
found myself standing on a wet, sagging plank jutting out over the floor below like a diving board, which was appropriate since the floor below was a swimming pool. My pit buck started clicking with great enthusiasm.
Oh, is Lil Pip going to get mutation?
Scrambling on the floating debris,
Oh, what's
the
it gonna
Alicorn
be?
thrashed, her horn beginning to glow.
2 horns?
Steelhooves was nowhere in sight, having surely sunk to the bottom. I wished for the bag of grenades. I had to act fast, but my mind wasn't thinking fast enough. The Alicorn would have her shield up before I figured out what to do. Kablam! An explosion right next to my head blew out my eardrums. The world became a strained, high buzz. I immediately lost all sense of balance, tumbling from my position. I landed on a floating chunk of flooring, then immediately began to capsize.
Oh, shit.
I grasped the chunk of floor telekinetically, letting out a scream I could feel but not hear. Focusing had become excruciating. In front of me, I saw the Alicorn floating in debris and blood. Velvet Remedy had blown a large chunk of the creature's neck away with
Oh,
a shotgun.
she did! Alright, I thought
It wasn't
Calamity
dead,
came in.
but it was a race between blood loss and drowning as to which would finish her off first. I watched in horror as it began to heal, the wound slowly closing. They fucking regenerate? That was not fair. It was not okay. With a flash of anger, I started telekinetically grasping jagged floating bits of floor and jabbing at the Alicorn's neck until I had crudely sawed it off. The
Oh!
creature began to sink beneath the reddened, radioactive water.
Oh! I thought she was just going to grab its hair and start drowning it telekinetic. Oh, that's dark. That is brutal. That is fucking awesome. That's like something you do in Doom, like the new Doom game where you grab the Pinky's tusk and rip its neck out. Oh, oh, damn. Like, you didn't need to go that far. You could have just grabbed its head and drowned it. Like, dude, that was fucking awesome. Okay, we're at 15 minutes. I'll give you 17. I gotta go to bed, but I also do want to get a video out this Friday.
Velvet Remedy crouched over me, her horn pointing at my left ear. She'd already restored hearing to my right. Steelhooves stood next to us at the edge of the swimming pool, dripping with water that was making my pitbuck clickety-click wildly. He was arguing with Velvet over how much Radaway he needed to drink. Velvet was leaning towards every last packet we had. Steelhooves was...
Okay, maybe I'm a little confused on the lore, but wasn't the crazy ghoul doctor trying to make Radaway? Like, it didn't exist in this universe and he was making it? Or was he just insane? He might have just been crazy. Or I'm confused on lore, because I remember the doctor talking about Radaway and how he's trying... Did they steal it from him? Did he actually have a working version and he didn't care because he's a crazy man? Or was he just crazy and there was already Radaway? I know we had health potions and stuff. I didn't know Radaway was a thing yet. I thought with the doctor it wasn't a thing. I thought it wasn't going to be a thing. Like, is it now a finite supply with him dead? Did he actually make Radaway? He was just too crazy to actually care or realize he did what he was trying to do? I'm so confused. Anyways, we're nearing 17 minutes. I gotta go to bed. I'll gotta get up early tomorrow. But I want to finish this by this Monday. So after tomorrow morning, when I do what I gotta get up so early to do, I'm going to sit back down and we're going to finish this. Okay? So there'll be a video tomorrow, this one. There may be a video after the Saturday? Yeah, Saturday. Maybe, or maybe it'll be out on Sunday. It really depends on what happens. But yeah, I plan to finish this chapter before Monday. I might fail, but I'll at least try. Have a nice